Hey guys, it's David here with Varez Media, and today I want to talk about speed. Sadly, there is no Keanu cameo or ancillary amphetamine analysis because workflow speed is the kind that I'm going to be talking about. More specifically, we will cover how we can speed up using the shiny new Sony A7 IV. We have got 5 acceleration adaptations covering shortcuts, custom buttons, custom menus, and more, plus some smaller tricks to maximize your A7 IV video shooting experience. Just before we start, if you enjoy the video, then please do like, subscribe, comment, check out the affiliate links. All of that stuff really helps support the channel and keep it going. And with that said, let's start with something fun. And that is an unerringly accurate segue because you can't spell function menu without fun. Perhaps that was the worst link that I've ever scripted, but I do know for sure that the function menu is one of the handiest and most convenient camera controls we've got, providing us with 12 quick access settings from a selection of around 50 options, all of which can, predictably, be accessed by pressing that function menu button. To customize your function menu, head to the yellow setup menu, then item 3, operation customize, then the FN menu setting. Navigate through and select your setting choice for each slot in the 12 slot function menu grid, and boom, you're ready for some fundamentally functional fun. It's also worth noting that you get distinct function menus for photo mode and video mode, so set up your choices accordingly. Now that is a lot of options, but you can assign even more options with an even more direct shortcut, custom buttons. So it seems like a good idea to move on and cover those. Across the A7 IV, we get up to 12 assignable buttons, 3 assignable dials plus the control wheel, as well as a potential additional custom button on your lens if you happen to be shooting with glass that has a button. To set these up, we are back to that yellow setup menu and tab 3, operation customize again. This time select custom button/dial set. You'll want to choose the second listing with the movie camera icon to set things up for video shooting. Navigate through and you can select for each button an assignment from one of nearly 90 options. Some of these would be a bit impractical in my opinion, but the scale and range of choice is impressive, and there are a lot of really useful options within that total. Plus, things get even deeper with our dials, where we have the ability to set 3 alternative assignments to my dial 1, 2, and 3. Then have those assignments available when holding or toggling through one of the custom buttons. For instance, I have the usual aperture, ISO, shutter trio on my dials by default. But when I hold down my C3 button, which I've assigned to recall the My Dial 2 custom assignments I set up, those dials switch functions to audio level, white balance, and cycling through creative looks, just for this demonstration. To set this up, it's still our yellow setup menu, but this time tab 4, dial customize, and then my dial settings. From here, you can deliberate your distinct dial distributions as desired, and there's even more dial customization depth with the ability to assign different functions in manual mode compared to the partially or fully automatic shooting modes. That is a nice touch given that those auto modes will, by their nature, remove the need to change one or more of your typical exposure related dial settings. For example, there's no point having dials for shutter when you're in aperture priority mode and the shutter speed's automatic. Pretty impressive, but like when you're into hour 3 of the Zack Snyder Justice League cut, incredibly, that's only just over half the story. Now, you can't assign functions to the shutter button, but you can change it to record video when you press the shutter, so that frees up the default red record button for reassignment. To set this up, go to the setup menu, operation customize, tab 3, and then go to rec with shutter. That is already more customization than the most salaciously selected Subway sandwich, but we aren't done yet, although we can seamlessly segue from meatball marinara menus to my menu, Sony's name for the custom menu tab that they offer. This is the grey star menu page, and it's great for adding less frequently used or more deep cut detailed settings than you might need for your custom buttons or your function menu. Go to add item, then take your pick of the options that you want to assign. There's just over 42 slots and you can select choices from over 200 options. I'll finish quickly showing you my current options on screen in case you need a bit of inspiration to get started, but I won't be running through my logic for all those exhaustive items. Also, in the My Menu settings, you can select Display from My Menu, which will bring up this custom menu whenever you hit the menu button of the camera, rather than bringing you to wherever you last were in the main menu layout. And if you really wanted to, you could assign the menu or Display from My Menu buttons to custom buttons of your choice to enable you to jump straight to either your custom menu or wherever you were last in the wider menu, if you want to be more extra than a Ricky Gervais Office follow-up series. But what if we want to access a whole bunch of settings all together quickly, rather than tweaking individual variables? Well, I'm glad I could rhetorically pretend you asked me that, because that links nicely to memory recall, which we're going to cover next, and which allows us to do exactly that. Here we can store almost every variable you could think of as a quick access set. Start off by getting all the settings of your camera exactly as you wish, then jump into the menu, the red shooting menu this time, and then tab 4 shooting mode and choose memory recall camera set. You can select one of 7 slots to save your settings, numbered from 1 to 3 for those which are internal in the camera's memory, and M1 to M4 for the ones which will save to the specific SD or memory card that you have in. Once you've got your memory more solidly set than that guy in the movie Memento, you can access your recorded settings simply by turning the dial selector to 1, 2, or 3 to access the in-camera memory settings, and to access those extra M1 to M4 settings, just jump into the menu from 1, 2, or 3, and from here choose MR camera recall settings to dial in the option of your choice. You can get a bunch of flexibility with memory recall, but my main and rather simple use case is just to be able to quickly jump between 4K 24, 4K 60, and 1080p 120 frames per second. Last but not least on our long list of labor lessening loveliness is a nice customization for anyone who shoots a decent amount of photos as well as video. Now, for me, this is a bit like telling jokes which are actually amusing, something that's totally alien, but for others, it's potentially a big and useful feature. To seize that sensational setting separation option, open up the Setup menu, tab 3 for Operation Customize, and then choose Different Set for Still/Movie. You can go through the 8 core shooting variables listed here and decide how you want them to behave when changing between video and photo mode. Leave the box unchecked to have them move together and therefore stay the same as your last setting when you switch between stills and videos, or check the box to make them stay separate from each other and behave independently. And that brings us to the end for today. Give this stuff a shot and you might end up with a camera more covetously customized than the colossally crappy characters I carefully crafted in many a wrestling video game as a kid. And is there any higher praise than that? The answer is, of course, yes. Much like the answer to the question, should you like, subscribe, comment, and check out the affiliate links if you enjoyed this video to help keep the channel going? Maybe that should even be a hell yes to that one. But the bottom line is, until next time, take it easy.